mind.
But Joseph, how different is that federal that you're proposing to what is obtaining today, decentralization? The argument that now districts have some small power, districts have assemblies. Districts can, in some cases, districts can also come up with taxes. You have seen these taxes over markets, over what? Districts. The proponents, the opponents of federal in Uganda, the opponents, say that doesn't differ so widely from the decentralization.
No, it does. First of all, because
even if I may, sorry to interrupt you.
No, sir.
When they were doing the federal debate, I remember people like Bidandi Sai, the minister of local government, then was saying for him he wasn't seeing the difference anyway. Because you want local governments to have powers, local government in this case, we have given them power. Districts have a district service board. Districts can appoint their people. Districts have assemblies. They're like regional parliaments. They can do it. You get it?
Yeah, districts
can come up with some taxes of their own. They can formulate their own taxes, local taxes.
And districts are 136.
So how different would
that's what I'm trying to say. Districts are 136. You can't have a federal where you have all those. Because they have been too fragmented. Now, if we were looking at, let's say, the way it was before, where we had 39 districts. Remember when we used to study civics? Yes. And we had 39 districts. That was workable. But in a country of 45 to 50 million, and you have, you subdivide it into 135, 136 provinces, you're going nowhere. Now, that's why we go for the region of, because that were 15 federal states.
Where like all these districts merge into.
And with with governors with actual power.
Actual power.
Actual power over their people.
Enumerate on that.
Actual power means...
Would they have power, say, to come up with taxes?
Yes, the way even districts do in certain areas.
Would they have power to, would they control military?
No.
Law enforcement?
No.
Like NYPD?
It's just a department of police.
Yes.
It is not, that's just a department. No, it's just a department. There is nowhere where immigration or military or things like that
will be in the hands of
No, it's not like that. There are so many which have to be in the hands of the federal government. Like all those things, immigration, military, policing, and so on, even if there are departments in all these places, and so many other areas which have to be handled by central government. But when it comes to areas of development, of certain level of taxation, okay, even now, like you see the districts have, they have small taxation.
Local service tax.
Local service tax, they have,
One of the markets, they have put up markets because of...
things like that. So, but now you expand it, so that they have a bigger leverage to get some money from their people, tax their people. But then even then, the national resources, which are not necessarily coming from that district, they get a share of it. And all the resources that come out of there, for instance, if there is gold in Karamoja, a certain percentage of that gold has to stay in Karamoja for the purpose of developing Karamoja. That's how a federal state is. Now, and that is true for all other regions. So then now we can have actually people in Karamoja thinking about Karamoja and developing Karamoja, rather than expecting that an 82-year-old man
seated in
Entebbe is going to be thinking about Karamoja, thinking about West Nile, thinking about Kabade. He can't.
But also, there's a fear of unrestrained, under federalism, that some of the provinces could have a lot of unrestrained power. In a sense that, let me give you an example of California, where a state can come up with kind of taxes that we find that they hurt maybe local industry, hurt companies, hurt innovations.
No, they are the ones who suffer when they do that. But it's their right. It's their right to do that. But they're the ones who suffer. Because when, let's say like California, which was like at some stage, I think the 8th largest economy in the world, if it were not in America,
a country
if it were a country of its own. When they came up with all that regulation, which Democrats are so good at, a lot of regulation, environment, water, this and that, and heavy taxation. What happened is some of the big companies ran away and California lost revenue.